Hey, so we're on a bit of an outing today. I've just arrived at Wollaton Hall, which if you've ever been in Nottingham for a duration of time, you've probably been there because it's got a massive park with deer roaming all around it, and there's a big Elizabethan hall, which was actually built as a way to try and lure Queen Elizabeth I to Nottingham as a place for her to stay. She never came, but we've got the hall and it's a beautiful place to come and visit. But today I'm here because there's a plant fair and it's run by Nottingham Hardy Plant Society. So it's going to be great to have a look at what plants are for sale, have a little look around their garden, and just have a mooch about some plants. I'm actually really excited because although I've been to Wollaton Hall many times, I've not actually been inside their little, I don't know if they call it a walled garden, but I'm pretty sure it is a walled garden before. So yeah, it's going to be really cool to see what's inside. But there's the hall, look. It's actually in one of the Batman films, it's Batman's house. So you might have seen some shots of it and not actually realised. There it is, it's over there. You can see lots of plant people in that tiny little walled garden. Let's go have a look. What a gorgeous day. I didn't quite know where to start, gardens or plant sale. The first thing I saw was this bonsai'd tiny ginkgo in this trough, and it was absolutely amazing. I really want to find one. It's called Ginkgo biloba Troll, which I've not seen before, so it must be a compact variety. So this is how they're labelling their plant sale, different colour labels with different prices for each plant. I thought I'd have a little look around the plant sale first, just in case there was something that I really wanted, so I could put it aside and have a browse and then come back to the plant sale. This is the Nottingham catchfly, which is really interesting because it's a plant that grows on Nottingham Castle and probably Wollaton Hall as well.
Brilliant. So, but it was that plant.
What was it called?
Galatella.
Galatella. There were lots of plants for sun, mostly like, you know, really tough hardy perennials. Here there's a geranium. What else can I see? This is a white flowering phlox that I did actually end up buying because it's sweetly scented and I just haven't really grown phlox before. I thought it'd be great for cutting, putting in a vase and making bouquets with, so I did end up picking this one up and putting it in my basket. Oh, this looks familiar. This is the Mexican fleabane, or the Erigeron cavanscianus, which is the white fluffy cloud daisies that grow everywhere on my allotment. Okay, time to go around the garden, and the first thing that caught my eye around here was this enormous hops plant. And look at all those little flowery little bells hanging down, the little hops. That's absolutely gorgeous. Then there's this phlomis that creates really weird looking seed heads. They look great in the wintertime, especially if there's snow. And next to that, I don't think I've ever seen a salvia hot lips quite as big as this one. It's massive. Such pretty little red and white flowers. You can see where it gets its name. And another salvia. It's a great year for salvia. I mean, it's been so dry and hot. But I just love all their labelling in here. Every plant has a label and they're all so detailed. So you've got its name, its family, and also here it says AGM. That means it's got the Award of Garden Merit, which means it's been approved by the RHS as a great plant to grow. Further down, more plants, some that I don't actually recognise, but it's flowering on the 1st of October, so it's great. Here we've got some Nepeta, and behind that, loads of climbers scrambling all over that red brick wall. I do love a red brick wall. Lots of clematis I can see there, and also that looks like, yeah, it's a passion flower with still a few there in bloom. I really love this yellow clematis. You don't see them very often, and it's got really pretty little fluffy seed heads, like little old man's beards. I just love the way it's gone rampant in here. Oh, look what's over there, that looks familiar. Clematis, Madame Julia Coravon. It's the same as mine. Ah, so this is where the tools are kept. Do love a little nosy round a potting shed. Very organised. Oh, look at all that. I do love the wall display there for storing the little knickknacks, all labelled up.
Cut down when they were very dry and crispy. They've perked up again and flowering again as if nothing was ever wrong with the weather this year.
So this is Erica.
Hi.
Tell us about you and what you do here.
I come to the garden every week, sometimes twice a week. This week, this is my third visit, so I was here on Wednesday, Friday when we're gardening, and then usually on a Sunday we have plant sales. And this is our last opening of the year, so we're open from 10 till 4 today instead of 2 till 4. It's been very busy today actually. We're very pleased with
there was definitely a bustle when I was coming in.
with how sales have gone today, but the pleasure really is just coming and looking round the garden and seeing how much is still in flower. We have a list of the plants that are in flower in the garden and available to buy. Most of the plants that we have for sale are propagated from the plants here, but some are donated by our members. And all the money that we raise goes towards our programme of speakers in the winter. We meet with the Hardy Plant Society Nottingham group, and we meet in West Bridgeford from September right through to April.
So do you a mix of like speakers and volunteering here in the garden?
Yes, we have speakers in the winter meetings, which are very, very interesting and often plants for sale as well. And then in the summer we have coach outings, usually 3 a year. This year we had a very early outing in February, and then the final one that was for hellebores and snowdrops.
One of my favourites.
We visited Bridgewater in July, and then a couple of weeks ago we went to a very special nursery down in Worcestershire called Picton Garden, and we bought some more what used to be called asters, now called Symphytrichums.
A bit more of a mouthful.
Exactly. For our garden, so they'll be looking fantastic next year. Some of them are looking fantastic now, and of course it's now their best flowering time.
I heard you went to Ashwood Nurseries. Was
We
that
did.
part of the Hardy Plant Society outing?
We did, about the same time as you went.
Really?
I saw your video. I think you went the week before us.
Yeah.
And yes, it was fabulous.
Great place.
So we all bought hellebores, and we used to have hellebores in this garden, but because we don't open to the public when they're flowering, we tended to have plants that were flowering when we opened the garden from April till October.
Yeah.
But because the seasons now are extended and we are coming earlier in the year and finishing later in the year, we're thinking, well, we should buy the plants and have the plants in the garden that we enjoy.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so we may have some more hellebores.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
But
So
that was a fabulous nursery.
it was gorgeous, wasn't it? I noticed you've divided the garden into sort of the shady corners, and can you just explain a bit about the layout here?
So the garden's been here since the early 1980s. It came about because the taxidermist at the hall, I think it was his wife who was a member of the Nottingham Hardy Plants group,
Oh, right.
and they were working out what they could do with this walled garden, and she suggested that it would make a good small botanic garden for the Hardy Plants group. So it was cleared by the youth training scheme people at the time. I think it was up to the top of the walls in willow herb and brambles and all manner of weeds, but it was cleared, and the beds that you see here, the 6 central beds and 2 long beds down either long wall, was revealed. So they were here all the time. We have got photographs of when it was used as a garden for the hall.
And was it like a kitchen garden?
Well, we're not sure. There's another much larger walled garden which is being renovated at the moment.
Yes, I've heard about that. I've not seen it.
Down behind Mr. Mann's on the main road. That is, I worked out it's about 33 times bigger than this garden.
Gosh. So it's quite a bit further away from the actual hall and the grounds.
It's much further away. So we're not really sure. There's some evidence of glass houses on the wall up there. You can see that there was some sort of glass houses up there. And we think possibly the bothy down the bottom might have been used as a pigsty at some stage.
Ah, for all that manure.
We've also got photos of washing drying in this garden and cold frames, so
A bit of a mixture.
Bit of a mix.
Yeah.
We're still not really
Okay.
sure what it was used for, but so that's when the whole garden was originally designed by the then members of the Hardy Plant Society, some of whom were well-known nursery people, so very real plants people who knew all the different families, and so the whole garden was divided up into different plant families, which we have largely stuck to today.
I know you've got some great signage and all the plant name labels. They're really helpful.
We do pride ourselves on making sure that every plant is labelled and it's up to date, because I'm sure you know that plant
names are changing all the time. I love the yellow clematis over there. I couldn't quite see the name of that.
It's Lambton Park.
Ah, it's gorgeous.
It's lovely, and the seed heads are really, amazingly fluffy. And,
So what's next on the agenda for
Well,
Nottingham Hardy Plant Society?
Well, we have recently renovated the daisy bed over on that side, which is looking absolutely wonderful at the moment. Last year we renovated the lily and the lily bed, so all the Nyphophias in there as well, and we planted lots of new lilies. But generally, apart from the renovating, when we do weed and check over the soil, we don't ever water the plants here, only the ones in pots and only newly planted plants. But still, even after all the drought of this year, I think you'll agree it's looking fantastic.
Yeah, it's looking remarkable. And
some of the plants haven't grown up as much as they would normally do. The Veronicastrum is a lot smaller than it has been, and yet some plants have really loved it. The penstemons are looking great.
One of my favourites. What can you tell me about it?
So I can tell you that this fern, this is a very special fern because it is named for my great-grandfather.
Oh wow!
And I would love to think that he was a great plant hunter, but that's not true. He was the secretary of the Scottish Caledonian Horticultural Society, getting on for 100 years ago, and we think that this fern may have been given to him as a thank you for when he stepped down. And it was in his garden, and then my grandfather took the fern from his garden and he kept it in the 1960s.
Gosh.
And then my father then acquired the fern when his father died, and it was in a garden in Cumbria from 1968 until about 10 years or so ago. And then my dad realised it was a special fern, sent photographs and fronds to them and said, is this a special fern? Is it like anything else? And they took a few years to decide, yes, it was a special fern, and so they could name it after my great-grandfather.
Oh my gosh.
So he gave me one a few years ago, and it's in my garden in West Bridgford. This one is here. This one is doing rather better than the one in my own garden.
Oh, because of the protection, you think?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly because of the soil. And it's in the National Collection of Polystichum. And so there's a chap in Penrith who's very, very good at growing them.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have spores.
No.
You can only propagate it through crowns, and this one has got a little bit growing at the side at the back. So I'm going to take that off at some stage. But it's suffered a little bit this year in the drought and the sun. But you can see it's already put on those two new fronds at the back. So it's very happy here.
Is it quite slow to propagate then? If
It's very slow to propagate.
Yeah. No spores.
I think you'll agree it's a rather special fern.
It is gorgeous. It's so bushy and dense. I really love it.
It's there's probably only, I don't know, 20 of them.
Gosh. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to walk around here and to meet you today. So if anybody wants to find out more about the National Hardy Plant Society or the Nottingham one, what's the best way to go about finding out more information?
Well, we both have websites. The Nottingham group is nottinghamhps.org.uk. On there we've got lots of information about our group, when we meet, where we meet, lots of information about our botanic garden.
And you're on social media as well?
And we're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We try on that front.
It's more than me.
We try to keep the website up to date as much as we can, so all the information is on there, and you can email us and ask us questions on there. If you would like to come and volunteer at the garden here, you must be a member of our group, and to be a member of our group you must also be a member of National. And currently it's £17 a year to join National and £5 a year to join us.
That sounds like great value.
It's great value. I think the prices haven't gone up for many years. But it's such a wonderful place to come, and it's to learn all about plants, and over the last 2 years it's been an absolute oasis coming here.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Well, lovely to see you and to meet face to face
Yes.
after seeing you on screen.
Oh.
Erica clearly loves her ferns, and you can really see that passion come through in this border where it's all so well cared for, and I just really love that mixture of shady plants with loads of ferns in there. Really love it. And then also this grass border, which is just absolutely in its element with miscanthus and steeper, pennisetum, so many different textures, and I love the way that they sort of catch that light. I also found this really unusual penstemon called Pocahontas that's got this really deep sort of burnt red leaf, which I've not really seen before, so I might have to look at buying one of those somewhere. And this was the Steeper Maxima, which just sort of danced in the light. It was absolutely gorgeous. And that concludes my little tour of the Botanic Garden at Wollaton Hall.
Well, what a lovely trip out that was. I've got myself a couple of new plants. I bought a penstemon and also one of the white flowering phlox. And yeah, it was just so great to see inside that little garden and what the Nottingham Hardy Plant Society do there, and to meet Erica. Yeah, that was a really lovely way to spend an afternoon, and I must join their society. Why haven't I done that already? You know, I'm obsessed with hardy plants and perennials, and I'm already part of the Nottingham Organic Gardeners, so I think I need to join the Hardy Plant Society. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you real soon.